Your brain isn't wired to see a setback as a lesson. It stamps it as failure. But what if every I blew it was actually proof that you're evolving?
Yeah, and that's the crazy part because the moment you start to reframe it, everything about how you come back changes. Let's talk about why. This session shares insights based on lived experience, neuroscience research, and supportive tools, not medical or mental health advice. We're not doctors, and these practices are not a replacement for professional care. If you're navigating serious mental health challenges or trauma, please consult a licensed healthcare provider.
We believe in therapy, in root cause work, and nervous system support. Use what resonates and leave what doesn't. Please use this as a resource, not a replacement.
Welcome to week 2 of our Comeback Blueprint Fire Sessions. Tonight, we are diving into Debrief the Detour. So we missed this last week, and I want to make sure that we talk about it tonight. The reason why we're doing these fire sessions and we're going through it module by module in the blueprint is I want you guys to have a deeper understanding of how the blueprint was built. It wasn't just slapped together because I thought it would be really cool, although it's pretty cool. Every single module is built on tools that are legitimately backed in science, like psychology, neuroscience, behavior change, you name it. So this kind of stuff doesn't just spark short-term motivation, but we're actually rewiring how we see ourselves and how we show up in the long run. That's A. B is I want to make sure that you guys feel supported in your journeys because it's so much easier when you have somebody to hold your hand through some of the tough stuff, like getting started. And speaking of hand holding, guys, I hate going to the bathroom by myself in a public place. Isn't that right, Krista?
It totally is. And I have, for as long as I can remember, and I'm sure probably before then, been a professional handholder for my sister going to the bathroom in strange places.
Professional handholder. You just earned yourself a new title. Well, I mean, you didn't earn it. I mean, you did earn it in a hard way, but you got it a long time ago because this has been years. So,
True story.
but that's exactly what I mean. Sometimes it's just easier when somebody is walking beside you for those hard moments. And that's what that's what these sessions are for. So you don't have to do this comebacks thing all by yourself. And if you don't have your comeback blueprint yet, head on over to our Etsy store to grab your copy today. It's etsy.com/shop/comeback club, or you can just grab the Etsy store link from your Kindling kit.
Perfect. And now that we have all of our information on why we're doing these fire sessions, we can start with our opening spark. So let's dive into tonight's spark. Detours never show up on the map. Nobody plans for the setback, the delay, the curveball. But if you've lived any length of life, you've had them. The projects that fell apart, the goals that slipped through your finger, the dreams that didn't go the way you pictured. And in the moment, it can feel like failure, like the end of the road. But here's the shift we're making tonight. A detour isn't the end. It's a different route.
Amen.
And sometimes it's the only route that teaches us what we really need for our comeback. Prime example, I will admit, and this is my mistake, but this is the second time we're recording this. And that was a setback, a detour, right? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to not make the same mistakes the second time.
Lesson learned.
Sure that it says it's recording.
Lesson learned. Guess what? You'll probably never make that mistake again either.
I might. We never know. Look.
I mean, hopefully.
You know something? I'm sure I've already made this mistake before, like in my past life, but it's okay. So you need to live through it again as a reminder. So Here's the thing, guys. What's one moment you thought was a failure, but now looking back, you can see it was actually a detour that taught you something about what you needed.
That's good stuff. Let's move on to our science spotlight. It is that time where we're going to get a little brainy. When you hit a setback, your brain loves to stamp it as a failure. Boom. Shame spiral. Why is my dog here? Because we're recording. That's why. So anyways, two tools I want to teach you. Both of them. Here we go. Perfect. Party time. But there's two tools. One is called cognitive reappraisal, and that lets you step back and say, wait, what else could this mean? Like it gets you curious. And instead of I failed that habit, you start asking things like, was the timing wrong? Was I too tired? Did I need more support or professional hand holding? Because we have one of those on this team.
That's amazing.
That's reappraisal. And you're not giving excuses or sugarcoating. Wow. You're literally rewiring your brain to see the same event through a new lens. So here's the second piece. Your brain loves consistency. It wants your beliefs and your actions to match. And when they don't, you feel tension, like a static in your system. And that would be called cognitive dissonance. It's your brain's way of saying, hold up, what you're doing right now doesn't match the story you've been living. But here's the reframe. If you lean into that discomfort instead of avoiding it, it becomes fuel. It shows you exactly where you've been settling and where you need to shift. So instead of seeing that tension as proof that you're failing, see it as proof that you're evolving. And here's where reappraisal comes in. The more you practice stepping back and asking, what else could this mean? The more you soften that dissonance. So over time, you're literally rewiring your brain's comfort zone to match the woman that you want to become.
I know this science behind this stuff is actually really amazing. Our brains are really friggin' fascinating.
It really is.
It's really important because this is actually my favorite module. This, and we'll get to another one of my favorites, but this is one of my favorite modules. And I feel like this is where the real work happens, is recognizing that what you looked at as failure or weakness isn't necessarily, if you can reframe how you're letting that input into your system.
Absolutely. I think that this is the module where like this is the root, like the root of a good comeback, because that cognitive dissonance, so many people don't realize, like you don't know what you don't know, right? So many people don't realize there's such a thing as cognitive dissonance. And literally, if the day that you're living doesn't match up what's in your brain, you're just gonna slide, like you're not gonna be able to push forward. And it's not your fault. It's your brain is just doing your brain things that you aren't even aware that it's being controlled.
It's stuff that's been pre-programmed into us from, before we were cognitive beings.
Right.
And, just you might have heard it called the lizard brain. This stuff is just programmed into us. And the cool thing about it is because we are cognitive beings, we can rewire that. And we just need the information. And that's why we're here, which is really exciting.
It is.
So
it's pretty cool.
It is amazing. And that being said, we're going to move into our action spark. We're going to pull apart, a failure from your past and reframe it using two tools, the cognitive reappraisal and the cognitive dissonance. This is how you're going to work through your Debrief the Detour module in real life. We're not here to erase your history. We're here to mine the data, to take that messy moment, pull it apart, and see what it has to teach you. And that's how we take the sting out of failure and turn it into fuel for your comeback. So I'm going to walk you through a few layers of questions. If you need extra time, just hit pause because we're going to just keep moving. You can also find these questions printed in your Kindling kit. So don't worry about scrambling to catch every word, okay?
And we're going to pop this up on a slide real quick too. So
give you some visuals. So here we go. Number 1, we're going to pick your detour. Think of one moment where you hit a detour. Maybe you dropped a habit, bailed on a commitment, or spiraled in self-doubt. And now we're going to take that moment and we're going to do step 2. Step 2 is the first dissection layer. We're going to do fact versus feelings. Say the bare fact in one line. Example, I skipped the gym for 2 weeks. Then name the feeling it created, like I felt like I was lazy and falling behind. And here's where you start separating the data from the story. Now, moving on to step 3, we're going to do dissection layer 2, the mismatch. Now, where did you feel the dissonance? The example, I skipped the gym because I felt lazy and drained, but the vision of me I'm building is consistent and energetic. That tension you just named isn't a verdict, it's a roadmap. Your current action didn't match your future self, and that's the exact spot where you get to practice shifting. And so now we're going to do step 4. We're going to do the quick flip. Finish this sentence out loud or under your breath. My detour showed me that I need blank. Might be a smaller step, a better routine, a mindset shift. That's your gold.
absolutely. So like fixing the cognitive dissonance would be literally just telling yourself like, okay, every day in the morning, I'm going to be like, I think weight loss is probably high on a lot of our lists, right?
Yeah.
I want to lose a pile of weight. So, to get there, I know I need more movement and I know I need to eat better. So if I told myself every morning that my name is Jackie Morse, I weigh 150 pounds and I love healthy foods, the person who I am now, who eats sugar nonstop, who gets 3,500 steps a day if she's not cognizant of actually moving, that person that I am today will start shifting. My brain will start believing what I tell it to. And that's pretty cool. That's all you have to do. It's like literally just telling yourself how you're going to live. So
It
cool.
also ties in with our vision from last session. So we're seeing how all of this stuff already we're seeing how all of this stuff is pulling together. You see, both of our hands are going wild. And the face, you're going to see a lot of face making too. So the faces are very important, guys. You cannot do your comeback without making weird faces sometimes. It's just how it's going to go.
Oh, Lord. We're a little animated and dramatic. So one of my favorite parts of these fire sessions is what I call our wisdom spotlight. It's where we learn from a voice or a perspective that has reshaped how we have moved through our own comebacks. So today we're going to shine that light on John C. Maxwell, because he was the one who first showed me how to stop fearing failure and seeing it as the raw data. Chris and I, when she giggled because when we first recorded this, I was like, do you say data or data? Because I say data, she says data. Anyways.
I say it different like every time, just because.
So we're going to stop fearing failure, start seeing it as raw data that actually leads to success. Because the kicker is our brains aren't even wired to see setbacks as lessons. Let that sink in. Our brains stamp failure as failure. And that's why John Maxwell's reminder matters, that failure isn't final. It's just raw data for our next move. And most of us were taught to put success in one bucket, like the shiny trophy case, the things that we brag about. And the failure goes into another bucket. It's the one that we hide, the one we feel shame around. And it's like, don't anybody look at this, right? But John C. Maxwell says you can't separate them, that success and failure belong together because failure is the raw data that teaches you how to succeed. So think about it like this. Success is just a polished version of lessons learned from failure. I love that one.
I know. That's one of my favorites. And it's funny because that's something I've learned through like Systema, a martial art and stuff like that, is we're constantly taught fail fast.
Yeah.
The faster you can fail, the faster you can learn, essentially, because you learn more from failure.
Yeah. You definitely learn what not to do, like not wait for the "you are recording" voice. Anyway, so when we keep them married, failure and success married instead of divided, we stop making failure personal and we start making it practical. So it's not who you are, it's just information. So in your kindling kit, I've included a YouTube episode, for this session. And if you want to give it a listen, I highly recommend it. He's such a great storyteller. And like I said, his perspective deeply helped me flip how I see failure. So I think hearing it from him could help shift the way you see your own detours too.
I know. I think that's amazing advice for a lot of people because of how we've been taught and stuff. And this journey is so remarkable because while Jackie and I have walked very, very different paths, we've gotten here kind of in tandem. Like we've been moving almost parallel to each other, just different life events and stuff. And I think that's absolutely amazing that, we've gotten to kind of the same place at the same time, but separately. And this is kind of how this is all coming together for us is learning about, accepting our failures, not as failures, but as lessons learned. And I don't know, this whole journey has been absolutely amazing, and figuring out that we're actually kind of in the same place, learning the same lessons at kind of the same time, even though we've been completely doing it individually.
It's been pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like, I think that, like Krista was saying, like we grew apart for a little while, for almost a decade, because we were just on two different paths and our paths just didn't cross. Like she's married, no kids lane, I'm married, kids lane. So whatever that entails, like it just, our paths just, we couldn't match up because of life, right? But it's probably, so we've been on our own lanes doing our own comebacks solo. And when we started talking about this, the fact that she was like, "Oh my God, I've been wanting to do this, I just didn't know how." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I know how, but I don't want to do it alone because that's her hand holding."
Here, take my hand.
Oh, thank God I got a professional hand holder in my family. Whew. Because this might not have launched, people. But anyways.
You people know that if you're wanting to be a professional hand holder, it doesn't pay a lot. So you're going to have a side gig.
Yeah, it doesn't pay a lot. It doesn't pay a lot. But I mean, it pays in happiness and love, Krista.
And the rewards I've gotten from it have been tremendous. Do not get me wrong.
But yeah, so I think it was just so cool to be able to be like light bulb moments, like cute, like we each had a light bulb moment, and then we came together and it went, whoa, kind of like what are those, the saber swords on Star Wars? Is that what they're called? Saber sword? Lightsabers, like, whoa, I got really whatever. I don't know that very well, but anyway, moving on to our closing challenge.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So we have one last spark before we close this session, and it's our closing challenge. The next time you're standing in front of a choice, whether it's tiny or huge, I want you to play a little game with me or yourself. A twist on that old WWJD line. What would Jesus do? Instead of asking what he would do, we're going to ask, if I were her, what would I do? That's the question. If I were already her, my dream woman, the one I've been envisioning, what would I do right now? This isn't about faking it. It isn't about it's about calling it forward. It's about moving in alignment with the version of you who's already walked through the storm and risen stronger. So here are some examples. If I were her, I'd stop asking permission and just say yes. If I were her, I'd close the laptop and go for a walk. If I were her, I'd raise prices without apology. If I were her, I'd block the number and not look back. If I were her, I'd send the pitch, hit publish, and book the flight. That's your closing spark. Try it out this week. See what shifts when you start asking yourself, if I were her, I would.
Yeah, I'm just like that. I don't even know how, but we're at the end of another fire session. So one of my things is I don't want to make these fire sessions too long. So this would be great for feedback from you guys. Are they not long enough? Are they too long? Are you catching our drift? Like, are we teaching you something? Are we putting sparks in your brain for you to move? We're newbies. I need more hand holding, people. Like, I have one professional hand holder, but maybe I need more in this. Okay.
She's got two hands. She needs two hand holders at least.
Two. So I would love to have a little bit more, but actually going back to what you were just saying, your WWJD, I kind of got a little ahead of myself, but that if I were her, I would. Ooh, guess what? We're busting down cognitive dissonance with that because why, Krista? Why are we busting cognitive dissonance?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
All right, obviously. Well, more hand holding needing over here. We're busting down cognitive dissonance. If I were her, I would, because we're putting ourselves in a position where you're answering from a place where you're not at currently, where you want to be. Does that make sense? It does make sense. Okay, because you scared me for a minute. I'm like, oh God, I'm not making sense.
How's my cognitive dissonance? Is my brain traveled into three other directions?
Your lightsaber didn't flicker, did it?
I did.
My apologies, people. Sorry. Anyways, we are really happy to be here with you guys. This is like putting so much fuel into our fires, our personal fires. I'm hoping that it's sparking something for you and that these have been helpful for you and that you're not feeling overwhelmed, because that's the last thing we want to do.
Absolutely. And, while these sessions aren't just about showing up and then shelving that information, I do know that we're giving you guys a lot of tools. And sometimes it can feel like, here's a tool, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. And I get it. It totally can feel like a lot, but you don't have to use every tool all of the time. You keep it in like a little toolbox and you can open the door and pull out what you need.
Exactly. These are tools for your toolbox. And like not all of them are gonna land for you, right? Some of them are gonna be like, you'll have really strong, hear me when I say that you're gonna have really strong feelings over some of these tools, whether they're good, whether they're bad. So just let it, whatever sinks into you, whatever hits you, that's the tool that you need for the moment. Because all these other tools, don't worry about this would be me. Okay. I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do. If this was me, this has been me. Actually, you should see my Apple Notes. It's a mess. I would be like taking notes. And then I would freak out. I'm like, oh my God, I have 75 million tools and I don't have time to use 75 million tools. I don't even like 25 million tools. These are stupid. This is yoga studio speak. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Don't do that. Don't be Jackie. Just WWJD, what would Jackie do? She would freak the F out. That's what she would do. Don't do that.
What it was you went to a very, very fancy dinner with all the forks and spoons and went, I don't know which one to use.
Yes. Kick that shit off to the table.
Here's the
Just
thing.
pick
You
one.
just use what's exactly. You
Use
grab the
one.
one that is appropriate for what you are doing right now. It doesn't even
Right.
matter if it's what Jackie or I would use. It matters. It's what helps you in the moment. And
Right.
yeah, it's amazing that you have these resources. You can come back to what you need.
Yeah. They're gonna stick like a lot of these tools, if you don't use them, they'll just kind of hang out in the back of your mind. And when you need them, you're gonna be amazed at like what sparks from the back of your mind and pulls it to the front. So if you're feeling like all these are overwhelmed, but this one like seems like something I can do right now, do that. Keep the other one off to the side. So, and if they feel awkward at first, or if they're not your vibe at all, again, don't freak out. Don't do what Jackie would do.
So, what really matters here, guys, is just being here with an open mind and an open heart. Give it a fair shake, see what sticks, and let the rest wait. Maybe it's a once a week ritual. Maybe it's something you grab in the middle of a hard day. However, you use them, these tools are here to serve you, not weigh you down.
Absolutely. And one more thing that I want to talk about is we had talked about making these fire sessions, live events. I've already said this, that I'm so bummed out that I had scheduling conflicts that wasn't making live events possible right now. But I am really proud that that didn't let us stop us. We're still here, we're still showing up, even if the vision looks a little different than when we started. What matters most is that you know that you can reach out to us anytime. Like, seriously, we've got a professional hand holder on our team. So, if you've got questions, if you want a certain topic covered, or if something just doesn't land for you, please don't hesitate. Use your voice. Like, that's what we're here for, right? Is to use our voices and to lift ourselves up. So, honestly, again, I'm going to hit on the feedback thing. It's not just about us teaching you guys. It's about us building a tribe, building ourselves together. And the more we share, the stronger this whole unit becomes. Remember, one spark shared.
Is one fire multiplied.
See you guys later.
Bye.